I'll request the panelists to keep their videos on, the participants to switch off their videos and to keep their mic mute. In case whoever is the host can mute all, and the speakers can switch on their mics because it's a Zoom call and everybody can switch on their mics. So we'll request, let the panelist speakers finish their talk. And if you have any questions, please raise your hand. There is a button where you can raise your hand. Please switch on your raise your hand, and we'll give an opportunity for you to discuss and ask whoever the panel speakers are. So this is just to maintain quorum and decency during the panel discussion. So this is the first Youth4Water Plus discussion or with the UN Water Conference at this official side event. So thank you. This is Shipra from UNICEF Orissa office in India. And I pass it on to Archana, who is the moderator of this session. So over to you, Archana. She's the moderator and the speaker on this session. Sorry. Yeah, over to you, Archana.
Johar. Hi, everyone. My name is Archana Soreng, and I am here joining for this UN Water Conference side event. And I'm very grateful to have this opportunity. And first of all, I would like to welcome you all to this session. I am one of the 7 members of UN Secretary General's Youth Advisory Group on Climate Change. I was part of the first cohort from 2020 to 2023. And today we are here to discuss on water, to discuss on climate action, to discuss on young people and how we all can work collaboratively. And we, as Zipra rightly said, we are hosting this side event as part of the official UN conference happening in New York right now. And it's an honor for me to invite you all for this session. So first of all, welcome you all once again from Youth4Water Plus and UNICEF Orissa for this side event, which we are hosting to discuss and deliberate and how we all can work together. Before we go ahead, I would request Shipra to share about this campaign of Youth4Water Plus and how it has been engaged and with the support of UNICEF Orissa. Shipra, if you could share a brief about Youth4Water Plus.
Thank you, Archana. If you agree, Archana, we could have a quick round of introduction of the panel members before we jump into the Youth4Water Plus introduction.
Sure, definitely. So we have amongst us very inspiring speakers today joining us from different parts of India. And what I feel is really grateful is that this dialogue is something which I feel is really important, coming together and sharing the perspective. So now I hand it over to all our speakers, invite them to give a brief bio about themselves.
Thank you very much. And since I'm standing at the moment already available, thank you all very much. I'm very excited to be here during the important part of the UN Water meeting as well as World Water Day, and wishing you all a very good time. My name is Arya Nafs. I work with an organization called IRC WASH, working on the interface of water resources, climate change, and water and sanitation. And we're looking at it at a holistic way, making sure that we see the ways how things are connected and having a systems approach to ensure that when you open the tap, water is coming out of it, and all the processes behind it are in place to make sure that that water keeps coming as the time goes further on. Thank you very much, and on to the next panelist.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the people in different parts of the world. So my name is Shipra, and I work for UNICEF India, and I'm posted in there's one of the eastern states of the country, which is called Orissa. And I'm very proud to say that UNICEF has been working with the government, with the civil society, with the youths, and we very strongly feel and that youths have a very strong space at various levels, at the grassroots levels, at the policy level, at different levels, and this is where we feel that it is at this official UN Water Conference side, even we feel that the voices of experts like Arjun or youths like Archana and Subhashish and Satya will actually make a difference. So this is very important. I'm looking forward to key messages which comes out of this discussion which we can place at the table at the UN Water Conference. Thank you.
Hello,
Satya,
and yeah.
go ahead.
Hello, I am Satyavrat Samal. I am the founder and director Sattvic Soul Foundation, and I am the youth ambassador for Youth4Water Plus, and we are the biggest plastic-free community in Eastern India. We can say proudly that, and we are like 1,000 plus youths in our team. All are doctors, engineers, and till now we completed 400 plus logging events, coastal area, jungles, mangroves, and wetlands. With that, we are planning to motivate all the youths for as a youth leader for next generations. And every time we are planning to do something climate action on water or was in Odisha, and we can tell proudly with our motivations, and we are doing excellent work, so that there is lots of youths motivated for doing something for climate change. Thank you.
Subhashish, you are on mute.
Sorry, my apologies. Greetings, everyone. I am Subhasish Samal, and currently I am working as an environment consultant at the district administration. I basically report to the district administration. The district collector is supposed to be joining. He could not join owing to the ill health of his father. So therefore, I'm representing the district. Currently, I'm working in a very interesting project that works towards conserving water, and it works around the efficiency. And the underpinning of the program is that it indulges a lot of youth that are present around in this part of the state. And interestingly, this is a district which has a lot of industry. It is called as the industrial capital of Odisha, and it has two major water body or river system. And we are working in some of the interesting projects, which eventually will we be disseminating here in this platform. Thank you.
Thank you, speakers, for sharing a brief bio. It makes me so happy to have such a dynamic speakers and leaders working in their own spheres, and so looking forward to the discussion today. So, taking it ahead, as we all are here as an official side event of the UN Water Conference 2023, which is being held from today onwards in New York. One of the key objective and aim is that how we all work towards water, resolving the water crisis, and ensuring that we are working towards sustainably, and most importantly, ensuring that all our solutions are comprehensive in nature, scalable in nature, also showing collective action and commitment with collective decisions to bring different stakeholders on board. So with this objective and aim, I believe that this initiative of Youth4Water Plus and UNICEF Odisha has given us this opportunity to come together and have a dialogue and have an opportunity to share the learnings and experience of each other who have been engaging in different forums. So before I go on to our speakers, I would like to briefly request Shipra to share about Youth4Water Plus and how this campaign has been initiated and how we all are really looking forward to this journey of having this discussion and deliberation on this platform.
Thank you, Archana. I'm really excited to speak about this journey, which started off in 2019 in couple of colleges of Orissa, and we reached out to youths to understand the pulse about this sensitivity and how they want to bring about a change in the space of water, sanitation, hygiene, and climate change. We were really touched by the passion of the youth and how they feel about these topics, about water, about climate change, about Mother Earth. We got to know, and there was a big learning that these youths are basically, they understand that there is no planet B, and they are the perfect ambassadors if they really make a move. If you really look at the statistics of Odisha, about 17% of them are youths, which is a huge number. And if these are a kind of brigade which can actually motivate the children and as well as motivate the adults. So youth for children and youth for adults is also something we can bring about a change with this brigade. So when we spent about a year in these 10 colleges, and we saw that there is a mover and shaker in this youths which we were working on through different, and we were just not reaching out to them, but we were constantly engaging them through different activities like innovation challenge, entrepreneurship challenge, debates, quiz competitions, writing blogs, photography competitions. So we saw very innovative things which came out. And then in 2020, we realized that we need to expand the base, and UNICEF alone cannot take it forward. So that's when we brought in partners, and partners actually from the first year when we reached out to about 5,000 years, in phase 2 where we brought in partners which helped us in three types. One is bringing youth base to this campaign, so partners like NSS, NYK. Then there were grassroots level organizations like Panthers, BGVS. These organizations actually, and then there was organizations like Tata Strive, which helped us to reach out to youths in 60 ITI colleges. So there was a huge NSS, NYK, there was a huge base. And as a result, what happened that we reached out to 4 lakh plus youths by 2022. Which gave us enough confidence that together we can. And we are at this stage where we have launched phase 3, when we said that we just don't work in water, but also associated issues like, for example, sanitation and water are very interconnected, climate change, and actually many of the solutions lies if we can address water and SDG 6. So SDG 6 and SDG 13 are very interconnected. So we retitled it and relaunched the phase 3 as Youth4Water Plus. And we are really looking forward. This phase has started, and there's constant engagement at different levels from the youth. And there are many youth champions which have come out, which are working on the solutions and innovations around water, sanitation, climate change. So we are at a very exciting phase, and we look forward to taking these learnings and experiences at the national level, at the international levels. And I feel youth's voices can actually make a lot of difference, and youths are so they have the burden to act now. And the IPCC report which came out recently actually tells us that we cannot wait, and there is no planet B. So we are very fortunate to have many youth ambassadors from this program. So that's the journey of Youth4Water Plus. Over to you, Archana.
Thank you so much, Shipra, for sharing about the journey of Youth4Water Plus. I think as we are officially in the side event of UN Water Conference, and what more than this journey and this experience and this example, which is being done by UNICEF Odisha in support, amplifying the youth perspective and youth voices. And what I really liked is it's not only young people being able to access these spaces and join in this leadership journey of accelerating change, but also it's multi stakeholders coming together, the local communities, the civil society organization, and different dynamics of stakeholders coming together to work. And as Shipra rightly said, that we can bring in change and we have to work together. So very happy and very proud, and congratulations to the Youth4Water Plus and UNICEF Odisha for this journey, and we wish you all the best. And thank you once again for giving us this platform. So now, as we move ahead to a very interesting panel discussion, I would request the team to play the video which is made to be displayed today.
So is it audible?
It is not.
It's not audible now?
No.
Okay, 1 minute. Now is it?
No.
One minute.
So you can leave it like this because most of the part comes as text in the video.
Okay,
Just
ma'am. Still it's not audible?
No.
Okay.
You will need
is it
to
fine, ma'am?
reshare it with sound if you want to do that. Reshare, but switch on the sound of your computer as a sharing component. It is very tantalizing to see it because The Wash Warriors is a great title for people being really championing the way water sanitation and hygiene can be addressed. So hopefully the technical issues can be overcome in the meantime while we are waiting. While you're watching this, do think if this is something that resonates with you. If you've seen something like this in your area where you are as well, do put it in the chat, and where you see people being left out of water, access to water, and that they're struggling to have a dignified life. Feel free to put in some names of places that you know around your own area while we watch together.
Thank you, Arjun. And I think just to add to what his points are, I think if you could just also put in the chat box, what are the issues which you're facing around water, and how do you think, so there is this access issue, there is this water quality issue, what source sustainability, and also the last mile connectivity, how we can reach. So there are some technical challenges how we can reach to the last mile. And in addition, there is also issues like how do we address water issues in a part of Western Odisha, like drought-prone area, or coastal Odisha, where there is an issue of salinity or fluoride or iron. So there are chemical issues, there are access issues, last mile connectivity. Or if you think there are more issues and you think that the youths can take more actions around it, just keep typing it in the chat box. If you're not able to address, yes. So this is a story about the youth of Kodiposa, one of the villages in Odisha, and how youths and other people feel about the issues there and how they resolve the issue. I think Debbie, we can stop the video now and we can have the further conversation.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you, team, for sharing this video with us. This was really thought-provoking and inspiring at the same time, which also makes us realize that every one of us at different spheres have been impacted by water scarcity and water crisis, which is in a way how it has been impacted by climate crisis, or also preventing us towards working towards climate action. So this again sets the context that we are here facing water crisis and climate crisis differently. And that's why all our solution needs to bring people on board from different stakeholders and different geographical location, because we all also need to understand what's happening on ground, amplify the voices. So we thank UNICEF Odisha and Youth4Water Plus for sharing these insights, and congratulates the effort of the young people from Kodipasa village for all their efforts. This has been really, really inspiring and thought-provoking. So as we move ahead towards our panel discussion, I would like to invite all the everyone who has joined us today. Let us make this interaction a very interactive one. Please feel free to use the comment box, text box, share your question, share your thoughts, and we will be happy to respond to your questions and we'll be interacting with you. So now as we move ahead, I would request Arjun Nath from IRC. I would like to ask you, Arjun, as we are celebrating Water Day and in line with UN Water Conference, how do you see climate crisis has impacted the water scarcity, water quality, and how can we work towards it in terms of solution in an intersectional way and working together?
Thank you very much. And those are many questions in one. And I think the first thing to realize is the climate crisis is affecting us all, as we all learn and find out in different ways and in different means. But the main way it's affecting us all is via the water cycle. There might be too much water, which is flooding. There might be too little water when there's water scarcity, or it might become too dirty, too polluted. And the process with climate change and climate crisis is that it all makes it more bad or more worse. So what you will see, where you before had a little bit of a dry period for maybe 2 months, when then now might be 4 months, the monsoon is becoming more intense, more flooding is happening. And this all affects our access to drinking water, our ability to have safe sanitation, and to be able to maintain good hygiene. And every area is affected in a different way. What we need to do is look at what is happening, what can we do to overcome it? And for that, we need to have people working together and putting their knowledge together. The climate crisis is affecting us. We are busy with a whole different host of problems that we are facing, and it's all becoming more urgent because of the higher temperature, the more intense rains that we have, and the bigger amount of drought that is happening. And how does this affect us all? We have to really start realizing that water is the most natural and most important resource that we have. And it's also the one that we have to share with everyone. We all depend on it. Most of the disasters that are happening, 90% of them, are through the water cycle. So we have to learn how to manage it. We have to learn what is our role that we can play in managing the water that comes from the sky, the water that's in the ground, the water that's in the river, in a way that we cherish it, protect it, and in a sense, every drop counts. And that's one of the ways how we can try to improve at all levels, be it in your community, be it in your wider district, or at your level of state. And it affects a lot the youth. And a lot of people say the youth is the future. And I think with the IPCC report that just came out 2 days ago, it once again makes it very, very clear. What we're doing now is really going to affect the ways and the livability of the future planets that we have. And the water cycle is one of the most shortest loops that we can influence. So it's also one of the earliest ones that we can hope to improve with a lot of the work that we might be doing at scale by mobilizing and helping everybody to work together with the youth as one of the big energy and change makers within society. Thank you very much. I'll hand it back over to you, Archana.
Thank you so much, Arjun, for sharing your insights. I truly agree with you that it's really important for us to realize that how every action and decision taken right now has a lot of implication in the future. And it's no longer that, we will face climate crisis. We are facing climate crisis, and we are in climate emergency. We are facing water scarcity and quality issues, and we need to act now. And the policies and the policy makers and the leaders needs to prioritize it now, and which requires young people, which requires everyone and those who are most impacted to be in the forefront. And this brings me to our next speaker. I would like to welcome Satya. And Satya, I would like to ask you, like, being a young person who has been advocating and working towards water conservation and raising issues in terms of water crisis, how do you see that, how young people should be in the forefront of water conservation or water qualities? And at the same time, I would also like to ask you, like, how far do you see that there are efforts being made to ensure that there is enabling approach to take care of youth leadership and prioritize youth leadership? So Satya, would like to hear from you about your initiative and your thoughts.
Thank you, Archana. And after a long time, I met you. We are regularly taking many actions. This is one vulnerable timing where now in 2023 we are facing water crisis. So think after 10 to 20 years what will happen with us. So mainly I think we have to take some bold actions, not actions from personal level in a baby step. Uh, Maybe we can stop whenever opening of a tap, something from our home. And mainly if we go to the policy and governance level, we have to know all the policies and governance, what government made, and something about water, what is the situation. And we have to conduct some regular analysis, what is the crisis, and we have to inform all our local bodies and all the youths from anywhere in the world. They all have to know what is black water and what is gray water, what is brown water, and what is saline water. And we have to visit every local area. And as I know from the ground level, as I'm very much active in field areas, the government and policy only known in urban level. There is no information in rural areas. So that's why all the things happen. And I think we have to know all the resource, actually what is water and what is the resources, and why all this water is very much consumed. Because only 2% there is drinking water only in this world. And we have to develop what we can do. Like we adopted 12 hamlets, mainly we are giving them educations. And first we are going there, and we are planning to solution. There are some solutions, and now we are planning to do how we can do sweet water from saline water. This is one project we are planning from today also, and who are know what is the issues and how we can get some solutions. So we have to work on this, and regularly we have to do some water literacy campaigns. That rural area, they don't know what is the importance. Maybe once upon a time they know the importance of water, but today now the generations, they think it's nothing. So now we also planned one campaign, half glass water. Like we want to initiate, we don't have to waste all the water, good waters. And lastly, I want to tell our vision should be emergency agenda to ensure the future water scarcity. We have to keep our water for our next generations. And in our east zone, there is lots of area. You all also know there is lots of water scarcity. So I'm inviting all the youths how you can preserve the groundwater, and when um, rain is coming, how we can save the water, and how um, rainwater can go to grounds. We have to discuss all about. And in layman words, I want to tell all the youths here, please share all the water related issues in your WhatsApp status and reels, everything. And in governance way, we have to report all the things to our local government bodies, and we have to create voice from our own home. And at last, I want to tell, we have to make one clear vision to implement youth policies, how it can implement. And when the stakeholders and when the budget is coming or anything, governance is coming, we have to create some voices, and we have to reach there. And we have to create some institutional structure. If the kids and like under 10th grades, when we'll tell them what is the importance of water and how it can help. And I think in governance level, if we make some Grama Sabha, Youth Sabha, or something like water meeting with youths regularly, with our sarpanch level. So I think we can create some solutions for every home. Thank you.
Thank you, Satya, for sharing your insight. It was really inspiring, and I'm so happy to hear all the thoughts which you said, that it's really important to also raise awareness, and at the same time also ensure that how we are disseminating the knowledge, how we are contextualizing about water crisis in the rural area, in the urban areas. And at the same time also, what I feel is really important is like all the policies, all the reports, all the information which we have is mostly in English. And I think it's really important to also emphasize that how we can percolate this information in a local language, because I think interpreting it in different languages is really critical to also make it accessible to communities. And at the same time, I really like that how we can make small efforts, like whether putting it in the WhatsApp status, Instagram reels. It's like amplifying our perspectives and amplifying our voices can make a lot of difference. So thank you, Satya, for the work you do on ground and in the policy level and the governance level. It has really made difference, and I really look up to you, and thank you for all the work you do. So moving ahead, I would like to call upon Shubhasis. Shubhasis, you have been working with state governments and as in projects and initiatives in terms of waters, and also in diverse geographical location in the state. So we would like to hear from you, like what is your experience and thoughts working on projects and initiatives, and how do you make sure that you have collaboration in terms of the communities, and also how are you being able to make difference on the policy and decision making level?
Thank you. Am I audible? Thank you, Archana. Thank you. So when I joined Angul, this geography of Odisha, this is the central, geographically located in the center part of Odisha. And we do have two major river systems, that is the Brahmani river system and the Mahanadi river system. So I will explain the entire intervention that is done out here, that will be carried out as a part of a larger program that is called as GRACE, GRACE, for the participants today. Once I repeat, GRACE, that is Government Response for Achieving Circular Economy and Resource Efficiency. So the problem statement that was given in the day one by the district administration leadership, we want to make this district water secure district, which means that we know today it is in abundance. We do have water challenges, but not to that extent that is experienced elsewhere. That is why we should be ready with our own plan, and our degradation potential is identified, and therefore we have a time to access the greatest technology or the superior technology that is available in the country or in the international market, so that we can link everything, and we do have the time, the gestation period. By the time the degradation starts at that scale, we are able to tackle them. So in this premise, we started to explore. We did a extensive consultation workshop. We invited all the stakeholders. We invited, and let me tell you, these kind of exercise that is done at a local level will be very rare. As far as I know, I do not know. Sibra ma'am is there, very senior personnel. Sir is there. So they might have very superior consulting workshops, but here what we had in district level, we did invite technical institutions that support engineering with engineering know-how. So here what happened, we invited each and every stakeholders, including the college and youths also, youth both from the club, from the non-governmental organization, from the various CSOs, also some Gram Sabha, as Satya was mentioning, Gram Sabha or various Sabhas. It was a quite diverse group. Everybody came and presented their concerns, and these concerns were then taken a shape of an agenda. Once the agenda was formed, then the approach is to find out what is the situation, to what extent. For example, if you go to doctor, similarly we went to a person who is an expert in that, so-called expert in that, having done the similar work in elsewhere in other geography in the Indian context. So we invited the Institute of Technology. Let me tell you, highlight you some part here, that access to a solution itself, if somebody has invented a solution and implementing that at a grassroots level may be very daunting task, is because of primarily two reasons. One, the location may not have a huge resources at their disposal, number one, be it at a governance level, also at a community level. Okay. Second, once you get these resources, you do not have the official bandwidth within the systems to absorb these solutions that are available there. So these are primary challenges. So we require some professional or some nodal person who binds them all together. So this is a classical challenge of policy convergence. Different missions are there, different schemes are there, or maybe different resources are there. They're all working all parallel. There are no convergent points. So here what happened, I have had the fortune of meeting all the stakeholders, combining all of the interests, and then on behalf of the administration, then the inputs that we got finally took a list of a situation of what is happening. For example, we have 4 major industries, which means in the coming time, we are bound to face that kind of degradation. Hello? Hello? It's audible? Is it audible, ma'am? Yeah. In the times to come, we are bound to face that crisis or challenge or whatever we term it. So we need to be ready with that weapon to tackle that. So I'll take to the interesting part of this entire deliberation. Now that is what's happening in the background with the administration and the government in the convergence level. At the ground level, which means at the community level, each and every community were handed over with a tool, specific tool. Now, these tool, even though it is scientifically grounded, it has a very simple connotations to understand the water issues, be it at their nearby water body in terms of tap. For example, if I ask you what is the per capita consumption benchmark at a rural level or at urban level, so these are some of the benchmark that the community should know. So what is the level of quality in terms of its chemical requirement or physical requirement, like the dissolved oxygen, this and that. So these knowledges were not there. So on the daily basis, the community, even though they're using the quality of water that is not permissible, but they do not have the awareness around it. So therefore, this big, the entire scientific understanding has to be developed into a tool. So that's what we have done. The major part that Satya was talking about, that the lack of awareness, which means not only this needs to be changed in terms of the language, it also has to be simplified in terms of toolkits. Like Youth4Water, in that to that extent, in the previous version and this version, they have had the continuous deliberation, and they have simplified. This forum has simplified the complex challenges, both in terms of its scientific challenges of the water, also in the availability and access, from the access point of view. Third, from at a policy level also, they're working at a policy. This particular forum is also working at a policy level also, informing different departments. Now, you see the challenge, the challenge, extent of challenge. For example, if you take a localized unit, a district called Cuttack or Bhubaneswar or Angul, for example, no one department is concerned with the entire gamut of utility aspect of the water. Municipality will have a special interest with the water. Irrigation department, and within irrigation department, they will have 6-7 departments. Major irrigation, lift irrigation, minor irrigation, this irrigation, that. So what happens, the coordination really becomes a challenge. At one hand, the industries are polluting. At one hand, the pollution control officials are monitoring it. You see, because it is so complex, and the governance even becomes more complex. In this context, today is Water Day. How will any youth, a normal youth like me, they will contextualize this issue of water? They will understand in the entire context of water. So the narrative has to be built. How this narrative will be built? Of course, the program that we are talking about, we did a situational analysis. We had a deliberations. We deliberated with all the stakeholders. We brought down their concern at a simpler toolkit level. That's what we are working. And this program also envisages, like we have a platform and portal for everything, and we are a IT specialist country. We should also have a water governance platform. It's a single governance platform which will be utilized by the government.
Subhashish, if you could wrap up quickly, we have questions from the audience who would like to ask the panelist.
Okay. So a water governance platform. Third, once we assess.
Subhashish, can you unmute yourself? I think the host has muted everyone.
Oh, and these solution and the solution that are presented should be nature-based, low cost, and should be accessible by these departments. Which means the last line I would like to say, that the solution that is developed by technological institutions like IITs or the superior institution across the globe should provide these solutions to the local administration, to the communities, to the CSOs or grassroots organizations at a low cost or at an accessible price point, so that can have a larger impact in terms of water security. At least that is the learning out of our intervention in this part of the state.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you, Shubhashish, for your intervention and sharing and emphasizing then how it is important to bring in technology and also multi-stakeholder in terms of working with the governance and the state governance. So thank you for sharing your insights. So I would like to go back to Shipra. Shipra, we also have it in the chat, the question like, as you have already worked with young people, so if you could share briefly your experience, like how young people have been working and how we can amplify their voices and they can make difference in this process along with the support required.
Thank you, Archana. Archana, this campaign has been giving opportunity to the youth's voices in different ways. For example, there has been policy formulations like water policy, menstrual health and hygiene policy. There are different policies which communication strategy policy, which just got launched by the Water Resource Department today. So everything, this campaign is providing a space for the voices of the youth. We have also seen somebody, a star like you, and there are others like Abhishek and Shruti. There are other people who have also got an opportunity to be part or cohort, cohort where youth voices, and they're in various committees whose voices are being heard. And then there are our experience also says that there are many innovations which are sitting in the youths. We've seen innovation in the water filter. We've seen innovations in technology, somebody coming out with a water game. So there are innovations because in entertainment is one of the very good ways of creating awareness on different developmental issues, including water. So we have one youth who's come out with a very nice, interesting game on water game. Some are using Instagram, some are using different social media platforms to spread awareness. Some are conducting competitions, some are doing quizzes. Some online of science Olympiad, there is something called as water Olympiad, which is also we are working. So youth's voices. So my question, I think back to Archana, I think from your experience, I think I have two questions back to the panelists also to understand that how there are many people and many youths. One, I would like to understand from Subhashish how better we can engage at the governance. You spoke at length a very good understanding about the project, but how at the governance level youth can be brought in and more engagement can happen. And from Archana, I would like to learn from your experience, since you have been at the cohort level, how there are many committees, there are many youth groups which are there at various levels. How and how can we integrate, how can we bring all these energies, how these channels together, because we are doing work, their work is happening, but happening at silos. So how we can bring this all together so that we can see a better end result? Because as you said, there's time to act now. There's no, if had we talking it 5 years before, it would have been a different scenario or context we would have been talking, and maybe 10 years down the science there would be a different context. So how to weave in and how to integrate? There are some youths who are contributing at the policy level, some at the research level, some are doing innovation, some are doing startups. I think brilliant to prevent climate migration. We saw in summers linking it to green jobs, linking it to livelihoods, startups. Some green startups are coming up which are giving solutions. So they have a fire in them, they have ideas with them, they have their voices. How the voices are being raised, but how does it get translated at the end? If you could just guide us, and how we can enhance this contribution much more. How can these voices reach at the say UN Water Conference table, or at the global level, at the national level, is something which we would like from your experience, Archana.
Thank you so much, Shipra. I would briefly share about my experience. Like, I believe there are 3 things which I have witnessed and I have been working upon, and it's been one of my experience when we talk about youth engagement in international, national processes. is like, first, I think it's really important to have identification of young people, because we have a lot of young people both in the grassroots and in the city level, state level, and national level, working immensely in their own ways, whether it is in terms of entrepreneurship, whether it is in terms of campaign advocacy, research, writing, and lot more. So we need to ensure that we have efforts done to identification of young people doing things amazingly in their own field. The second thing comes down to capacity building and training, which is like not from a lens of, we need to teach them, or we need to, they needs to be taught and they don't know anything, but it needs to come from a place like they know what they are doing, they are aware about the issue, we are helping them to know more nuances, and most importantly the policies and structures in place, which is so difficult. So I have also been engaging in peer learning processes, and I think that's something which is really important, to have peer learning groups, because to understand these laws itself is very difficult. So again, having the translation in the regional languages, capacity building and training and guidance opportunities in terms of what are these processes, how to access these processes, how to reclaim these processes, I think is one of the key thing which I believe. The third thing which I really believe is most of the young people have been engaging in the voluntary capacity, and it's really important to see that how all the work which the young people have been doing is also seen as the professional work and work in terms of job and employment, because at the end of the day it all comes down to employment and livelihood most importantly. So it's also important that all of this engagement which the young people are doing, how can it be seen from a lens of economic growth, how can it be seen from a lens of job, employment, livelihood, and most importantly from a lens of contribution, sustainable development, and climate action also. So this is what I would like to say and wrap up my sharing. I see there's a lot of questions in the question box, so I would like to turn on to Arjun, and we have question for Arjun, who is here, like how can we how do we envision future of the youth taking action on climate change at the governance level, which is like how the federal government or the government is responsible for water, and how it can ensure that the youth are motivated and are also contributing towards it. So it's more of from a lens of governance level. Arjun, like if you could share your insights on it.
Thank you very much. And it's absolutely fascinating to hear all the discussions and the ideas from here. And if you look at governance, let's be realistic. Governance is what makes things happen. It is what creates the public goods that we have. And if you want to have as a governance a better engagement of youth, first of all, there are three things to do. First is to realize that you are working for the future, that what you're doing is setting up a better environment for the children, for the youth, and for the sons and daughters that we have, that you're working towards the future. So recognizing the need for youth engagement as the key stakeholder. The second thing to do with that is putting action to that, is creating space. And this space can be created in many different ways. One of them is making a seat at the table in different panels, decision processes. It could be creating forums. You could have citizens forums where the youth are engaged. You could have processes like Jal Chopal, which is being run in Uttar Pradesh around democratizing, so making more democracy component in the water management at district levels, and creating space for civil society and platforms of youth. And the third one is really harnessing and realizing the power that the youth has in numbers, in energy, in innovation, and harnessing that, building onto it, reaching out to it, and using it. And part of that is also creating space within government to have attractive positions open for youth to actually be joining government as well, to be part of it. We also have youth champions within government, as we can see from my fellow panel speakers. We need people also to want to find governance an attractive way and a career path to be able to play a role. So within the government structure, make sure that you also create space for the younger people of the organization to have a say in what happens and how it happens. So with those three components, governance can start to build on the change agents that youth actually is and coordinate and help with them and work together. Thank you very much, Archana. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Arjun. That was really insightful, all those three ways how we can go ahead. Arjun, as we are also towards the end of our panel discussion, I would again like to go back to you and say that what's one message which you would like to give to the young people and all other different stakeholders?
The one message I would like to say is the youth is powerful, engaged, and a real change maker. Use it, collaborate with them, organize yourself so you are part of the processes, so you have a voice, speak together, speak out, and also listen. And thank you very much for that opportunity.
So much, Arjun. So now I would like to call upon Satya. We have a couple of questions for you, Satya, from the question box. So Satya, the question which is given to you is which is being asked to you is that, as a star blogger yourself, how can youth help remove the problem of plastics? How can you ensure that youth action will lead to remove the problem of plastic at the governance level? And also there's another questions that we all know the executive branch of the federal government is responsible for water. I would like to ask you, what has the government been doing in terms of water crisis and to motivate youth? It's a lot of big question, Satya, but I would request you if you could briefly share your thoughts on this.
I'm very happy that I have lots of questions. As a plugger, I can tell we all have to motivate ourselves, and what we started from last 3 years, when there is 1 to 2 area people are doing cleaning programs, but now it's one big revolution, and now we all youths started to ban single-use plastics. And from my concern, if everyone will be aware about what is plastics and how plastic impacts, then everything can be possible. And from governance body, in this budget, I stated one statement that we need 1 to 2 plastic recycle units. We don't need landfill units. We need plastic recycle units. So I think this year this will be continue, and for local governments, we all have to raise voice, and regularly we have to do something for that. And that is another question, what government is doing regularly from our environment department and water resource department. There is many youth seminars and conclaves, and there is lots of um, meeting for kids in school level also, and there is lots of campaigns like Har Ghar Jal and something where we motivate the youths by government. And lastly, I can tell one line in Odia: Jalo bihune sushti nasa, Jalo bahule sushti nasa. Without water, the earth can't sustain, and with lots of water, earth can't sustain. So with that 3% of water, fresh water, we have to conserve that 3% of water and recycle. And lastly, I can tell to all the youths, we have to create a plastic-free Odisha and plastic-free India, plastic-free world. Let's accelerate for the change. Thank you.
Thank you, Satya. Thank you for your insights and your thoughts. You have already said your message for the youth in terms of plastic, but I will again go back to you and ask your message for the youth in terms of water conservation and how we can work towards preservation of water. And most importantly, what is your message to the government and different stakeholders and young people in terms of water conservation?
There is also one question by Sipra ma'am also, how plastic spoils all the water bodies. Plastic will take 400 to 900 years to melt. It's not biodegradable. So whenever plastic go to water, whenever we think where is plastic goes at the end plastic goes to water. Maybe that's fresh water, maybe that's saline water, but at the end plastic goes to water. So that is the issue, how water pollutes. And my message to all the youths, uh, till our last breath we have to fight for water, and live for water. Without water we can't sustain. So we all have to raise voice, and we have to take actions um, regularly in fields, and we all have to take small baby steps to conserve water. And lastly, what Archana said, I mean, for government or stakeholders, we all have to think for next generation. We are thinking about us for now, how next generation will survive. For that, we have to take steps from now, so that we can conserve that 3% of fresh waters. And thank you, Youth4Water Plus, giving us a um, big opportunity to work hard and harder for the communities. And I promise you all, with this seminar, that we'll work hard how we can sustain all the water bodies and how we can restore all the water bodies. Let's fight for water. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Satya. So I would like to bring in Subhashis. Subhashis, we have a lot of questions for you as well. One of the question which we have for you is, how can young people work with the district administration? So like, how can youth participation can be enhanced in the work of district of government administration? So this is one of the questions to you. And other question is again bringing into the perspective of how we can ensure that the its government is also reaching to the young people, and at the same time young people are also accessible to government. Yes, Subhashis.
Yes, I would attempt by saying that uh, you are just talking about the capacity building part, and we always academically or at a Apex forum we always discuss about making this youth go through these capacity building programs. But what exactly these capacity building programs? One of the example that comes to my mind, that it will be very rare for us, my fellow youths present over here, that they see that they know their executive officer, nearby executive officer, or the irrigation officer. I don't know why it is in the system that we should go and access, report them. These are the challenges, issues, but we rarely know who is this particular person. There is no awareness around it. That means there is an incoherence in accessibility towards the local administration or the department concerned. So part of our capacity building, when we design with the civil society or the multilateral organization or the forum like this, should be attempting is to build a capacity to write, at least to write, if not give an idea, at least to write report to the local authority. If one starts to write, it is documented. Okay, today we may not see an action, but after repetitive writing, it piles up, and we can trace what is the progress that is made over this particular reporting. So I think youth should have like this program also has intrinsically designed that they express themselves. Then the clubs, especially the green clubs of the eco clubs in the schools, also in the graduate colleges, in the colleges, they have their internal clubs. The internal clubs to be strengthened in a manner that it acts like an office which is responsible for the local area degradation. For example, a nearby pond to my college, if it is dumped with the local plastic by the Safai Karmachari or the sanitation worker, and I immediately, as a student who is traveling from 10 kilometers, I do not know whom to report. It is none of my business because it's not nearby to my home. But as a club, they have a mandate. They should have a mandate. Each club should have a mandate. And then they go and write it to the irrigation officer, the executive officer, or the pollution control board officer. So this simple act will have a far-reaching resolving capacity. This has a far-reaching resolving capacities in terms of taking an action from the government. Ma'am was talking about how the youth can participate. The simple answer would be forget about blogging, forget about putting a status. Start writing a simple applications to the executive officer, or if you're in the panchayat area, start writing to your sarpanch or your panchayat executive officer. You start writing to them. This is the issue that happened. So what happens? This particular thing is documented, but unfortunately, that habit of writing is what that is not stressed upon in the capacity building. It is always told that you build your awareness. It should be encouraged in any program that you at least initiate a writing, start reporting. Okay. The second part, I will go briefly, is to what exactly to write and whom to write. That means it is simply an application, making a request to take an action and then following it up. Okay. So what happens when people at large at their locality, they write, it becomes a collective practice of making their local authorities accountable. This is the best possible way any youth can participate in the process of solution. We youth who do not write, we rely upon some other tool, some convenient tool. So unfortunately, that's what is required in terms of action.
Thank you so much, Shubhashish, for sharing this. And that's really important, which you said, that we need to make sure that we are writing to the authorities in a repetitive way and also learning how to write it. Also, I would like to link this with what Satya said, because I think given that the social media coming across, I think it's really important also to see the different avenues of writing, like as Satya was saying that, status and reels. So I would link it up with what Satya was saying is like, Twitter campaigns have been also very successful. Instagram campaigns have also been very successful by the young people. So I think when you're talking about writing and reporting, I think if we could see from different accessible ways of amplifying it, then it tends to blend a good in terms of collaborative way. But it's again comes down to what is the messaging and how and to whom to write it. So I think this collaborative effort of knowing whom to write, what to write, and then choosing the means depending on what is accessible will make a lot of difference. So thank you, Shubhashish, and thank you, Satya, for sharing your thoughts. At the last, I would like to go to Shipra ma'am. We do have a lot of questions from Shipra ma'am as well. So Shipra ma'am, for you, we have questions is like, how can youth become change leaders in their communities and take collective voices of all at the governance level? This is from Puran Jay. This question has come, and there's also another question which we have is like, youth leaders have to, yeah, okay, so we have that question of like how we can ensure that youth leaders, how we can see that youth are becoming leaders in the communities and taking collective voices at the governance level. Shipra ma'am.
Thank you, Archana. I think this listening to the other panelists, I think was very interesting. And I feel we have leaders sitting in this space and we have leaders out in the community. So we just need more voices to come out. I think we need thousands and thousands of Archana Suring. We need thousands and thousands of Satya. So we just need to give them opportunities. And I think the solutions are at the community level. There, see, we are at the, as you said, Archana, that it's not 5 years down the line that we need to act. We need to act now because we are sitting in the emergency. So I think we need different approaches by the youth to act. We need researchers. We need paper trails. A pen is such a good medium. So it's not pen nowadays, but it's through Twitter and through social medias. People can actually, whatever skills they have, whether they're in the IT field, whether they are in the research field, whether they are in the community work. So whatever work they are, and the solutions are in the community. For example, this millet mission. So we have solutions there that we need to go back to the millets. So which consumes, and the agriculture which consumes less water, the rice which consumes less water. So there are solutions there, and we just need youths needs to be aware about this. And also the power of the youths is that they can use technologies, a mix of traditional knowledge and appropriate technologies. And what Subhashish says, using paper trails. I think paper trails can create magic. I think the RTI, which is there, you can take out information about schemes. And you rightly said, Subhashish, people are not aware about the government schemes. People are not aware whom to write, they can write. Probably they are not aware how to write and whom to write. So it's just, even writing to a sarpanch will make so much of a difference. So it is not at which level you are intervening, which level of leader you are, even at a local. So Youth4Water has also taught people how to become youth reporters. So how you can raise issues at the local level and find solutions at the local, maybe at the sarpanch level, maybe at the teacher level, maybe at the panchayat secretary level, at the block level, at the district level. So we just need thousands and thousands of people like you and Satya and Subhashish to come forward and create that magic. We all have it in us. All the youths have it in them. It just needs to come out. And so Youth4Water Plus provides that platform of profiling and bringing out such stories and such youths out to the world. Thank you. Over to you, Archana.
Thank you, Shipra ma'am, for sharing this. We are so grateful for your support and guidance. So wrapping up this panel discussion, I feel this has been so informative, inspiring, and insightful. So I think we have touched upon a broad range of thematics, starting from governance, from Arjun to, how important this time is as we are in the climate emergency, and how it is important to ensure that we are having youth leadership, hearing from Satya about the youth initiatives they are doing, both in terms of the rural level, local level, and in the city level, both in terms of youth leadership, governance, and also how they have been putting in efforts in terms of plastic pollution, and at the same times being advocating and working with the governments also. And coming back to Subhashish, we have learned that what are the key challenges which we observe when we are working together with the governance institution and structures, and most importantly, how the projects and initiatives can be path-breaking when it is taking into consideration the community in place. And as it was rightly mentioned, that we need to write, we need more capacity building and awareness program. And like again, Shipra ma'am saying that young people have been doing amazing work. We need to guide them, we need to support them, most importantly have an ecosystem of learning. So it's been a broad range of conversations which we have. And summing up, I would like to say that yes, young people have been there out there advocating for water. We need to support them, and supporting them comes from a place of safe and enabling environment for them, accessing information, capacity building, training, where it is prioritizing on them, on their leadership, on their well-being, and most importantly acknowledging that all the young people have the different expertise, have the different professional journey, have their own learning journey, and how we can support each one of them in their own way. And the same time, it's also really important that when we talk about leadership and participation, it also comes down to awareness and being able to disseminate information to access and reclaim these spaces. And most importantly, we all have to work together, which again requires to have a relationship and a blend between the governance systems, and how we can also advocate our perspective in the governance levels, both in the rural levels, as Satya was also saying, like gram sabhas, youth sabhas, and youth leaders. And as Arjun was also saying, we need young people to be part of the governance system also. And as Shubhasis was saying, that we need to hold our leaders accountable by writing to them, and most importantly, to know how to write to them. And as Shipra ma'am was also saying, that we need more and more leaders, and for that we need more and more efforts to reach out to the leaders. And summing this up, I would like to say that each one of us is important, each one of us is unique, and we need to be proud of ourselves. We need to embrace ourselves, our culture, our identity, our journey, and then have the willingness to contribute towards the community, towards the issue, because it's only when we all come together we'll be able to do that. Before I end, I would also like to say that it's really important to have indigenous people, tribal communities, local communities on board, young people from those communities on board, because they are the ones who are most affected by the impacts of climate crisis and water crisis. So it requires having diverse stakeholders in the decision making processes in the table, and which requires for us to be aware, for us to understand the worldview, support the traditional knowledge and practices, recognize the rights over the land and forest and territories. At the end, we all can do this together. And thank you everyone for joining for this panel discussion. I would like to hand it over to Shipra ma'am to share about where people can know about more of Youth4Water Plus and UNICEF Odisha's work. So Shipra ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Archana. I think it was a very, very interesting, very participatory and very interactive discussion. I personally thank all of you, and Archana have done a fabulous job of binding it all together. Thank you so much. So for more details about Youth4Water, there's a website, which is Devi or Anvesha, if you could type in the website address of the Youth4Water. And I'll request all the youths to come together, because you'll find here opportunities, and you'll find mentors, and you'll find places to grow and connect and hear your voices to different parts, to different key stakeholders. I'll just type in the Anvesha has typed in the. So there are, in this website, if you scroll down and if you can visit this website, you will see that there are blogs written by youth. There are fact sheets and research documents written by youth. There are wash talks, which enables you to think through different issues, videos made by youth. It's everything by the youth, for the youth, and that is how we want to. So whatever planning we do, we have a lot of boot camps where youth's voices are heard, and that is how we plan to do. There are many small campaigns which this Youth4Water supports. For example, paperless campaign, supporting the Irrawaddy dolphin, saving the Irrawaddy dolphin campaigns. And there are many youths which are mastering this. We have a great blogger, Satya, who is there, who is looking at the climate change and the plastic solutions. There are some who are looking at water solutions. So so see, water is a very, very cross-cutting issues, and it's very linked. If the sanitation is bad, water it'll get affected by water. If your hygiene is bad, it'll pollute your water. If there's plastics, if there's solid waste, so it's a very, very interconnected sector. So we need to work it and look it as a whole. So my request will be to join this campaign so that we can contribute to the SDG 6 and the SDG 13, which the entire world and India has committed to. So and that's where the solutions lies. So let's all work together. As Archana rightly says, let's all work together. We are all with you together in it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shipra ma'am. Also, I would like everyone to join us for picture, group picture, if it's possible.
Yes. So if you can all switch on your videos, or let's have one with the panel members and one with all the participants. Anvesha, are you taking it?
I see a lot of smiles and a lot of people. Fantastic to see the people behind the names.
Anvesha, tell us when other participants needs to switch on their videos.
They can.
So panel members' videos taken. So other participants can also switch on their videos.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, everyone.
Let us know when it is taken. People can switch on their videos, please.
Everyone, please switch on.
Yeah, more people need to sit down.
Anvesha, you yourself have not switched on the video. Debbie has also not switched on the video.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, taken.
Taken. Thank you. Thank you.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone,
you.
for joining us today, and stay connected and let's work for water. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
You
you.
so much.